everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I want to talk about the episode 8 trailer, or I guess the finale trailer here, and yeah, break down everything that we saw in the trailer here, because there's quite a bit here. Honestly, I will say, based off of this trailer anyways, there's actually, I don't know, they're not really spoiling a lot, but I just wonder certain things about some of the characters and where the story is going here. But I'll talk about that as we go through the trailer here. So yeah, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. The finale is airing in like, what, I guess 6 days now or something, right? So yeah, definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content, breaking down everything all week long here, and also afterwards as well, depending on how Season 2 ends. And, you know, obviously The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 is going to be a show that I'm going to talk about quite a bit after Dead City is over, because, I mean, obviously the trailer is going to be releasing in about a month from now at Comic-Con next year. I mean, most likely, like, they always release trailers then. We're probably going to get a release date. I'm thinking October. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously we only have to wait 3 months, which isn't really that long at all. There will be a lot of promotion for that and stuff, and so it's going to be really exciting. Honestly, the rest of the year here, in terms of Walking Dead stuff, like, it's just going to be, I mean, pretty constant for the rest of the year, I would say. It's not going to be like before The Walking Dead Dead City, where we had to wait, like, however many months since, you know, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2, and, I mean, yeah, that was a really, really long time. There's only going to be, like, what, a 3-month wait, maybe? Like, if that. Like, honestly, it's not going to be that long. We're going to get the trailer, a lot of promotion in between as well, so it's not going to be quiet at all. So yeah, definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like that. But let's break down the trailer now. So the trailer begins with this very first shot here of, I guess, Dama and Hershel. So that was actually the big reveal at the end of episode 7, is we see that Dama was actually alive, and yeah, a lot of people are shocked about that. Honestly, there's actually quite a bit of people that are shocked by that. I'm kind of surprised by that, because I thought that, I don't want to say I thought it was pretty obvious, because even after episode 6, I thought that she was actually gone. Like, I thought that, you know, episode 5, that maybe, you know, there was a possibility that, you know, like, something was off, because it just seemed like she could be alive. But then after episode 6, I was like, I guess she's probably gone, because, and honestly, it's not necessarily the scene where, you know, you see like the walker or whatever that was actually burnt. Like, it was really just the story after that, because everyone went in different directions, and it was like, okay, I think Dama actually is gone now, because the characters are in these places, and that's sort of where they're going now with the story. So that's why I was a little bit more convinced with that. And then you watch the episode 7 trailer, and it was like, okay, I guess Dama really is just gone. Like, that was that. So, you know, if it wasn't for those teaser images that came out, I really would have thought that she was gone. And then I saw that, and I was like, okay, she has to be back. Like, she has to be coming back at some point. And she is back here, and she's with Hershel. And so it's kind of interesting when you really look at this here, because obviously, like, I mean, they're on top of a building here. And so it looks like what they're looking at here is down below them, right by the cathedral, you do see, I believe that's New Babylon. So I know that, I believe in episode 6, or it was 5 or 6, somewhere around there was a mention of, I think it was episode 6 actually, it was between Bruegel and Pearly, I believe. There was a mention about a second wave coming or something like that. Maybe that was mentioned by Lucille on episode 5, I can't remember, but we're actually seeing that here now. So they're at the cathedral, and Dama is looking at this here with Hershel, and so it's interesting to think of where Dama is going to be now, because you gotta wonder if, like, things are going to be totally different, because, like, if they're at the cathedral here, and Bruegel is going to go after Negan, and, like, I'm just trying to think of, like, where things are going to go, who's going to side with who, and that's really where things are at. Like, who is Dama going to side with, right? And I wonder if, because Hershel is on Dama's side, if Maggie sides with her, because Maggie is not going to side with, like, New Babylon at all, or Bruegel, right? So it makes sense almost to be on Dama's side here a little bit, but it really is one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it depends on, like, you know, I guess what she wants to do. Like, what is her goal here? Obviously, I mean, that's the thing, if you think about it, like, everyone's against her. So whose side is she going to be on? Like, is the Croat gonna eventually apologize? Like, I just don't understand. Like, for her, she really has to, like, try and hide. If anything, if I were her, I would just leave this place entirely, because Negan has a whole army there, or a whole group there. Obviously, they don't like Dama at all. The Croat, I mean, I don't know where he is right now, but Bruegel doesn't like Dama. New Babylon, they don't like Dama either. So I don't know what she's really going to do here besides getting revenge in some way against Maggie, the Croat, and I guess Negan. Also maybe Bruegel as well. Like, there's going to be something here that we learn, I think, pretty early on in the finale, so we'll have to wait and see. But some really cool shots, though, I will say. We also see Maggie and Dama talking here, so it seems like this is probably going to be happening very early on here. We'll probably learn a little bit more about how Dama survived. I don't think it'll be that insane to sort of, I guess, understand, you know, because I think The one thing about that scene is like the rest of the place didn't catch on fire. You know, the fire stopped right there. So like it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, it makes sense that Dama was obviously going to survive or she got out because like the fire would have kept going and it didn't, right? So like something was off there for sure. I think that, I mean, it makes sense. Overall, it does make sense. Like it's believable to me because to me, Madison coming back made no sense because the fire was like everywhere. Like, yeah, she could have got away in some way there, but like that was something that just, I don't know. Like, obviously, if you look at Troy as well, like Troy got knocked out with a hammer and then the whole place was flooding and he survived, right? So if you don't actually see a body, or not even the body, but if you don't see like the death at all in the episode, to me, the character is probably still alive because I think it makes a lot of sense. But let's go to the next shot here. And we see Bruegel and Negan, and it looks like Bruegel is confronting him about, I guess, I mean, obviously Bruegel wants him dead, right? So it's going to be really interesting because the one thing that's kind of cool about this shot here is Negan is actually like his old self. Like he's kind of laughing here a little bit. So he's enjoying this. He's like, oh, really? You're going to come here and do all this stuff or whatever, right? So I like the fact that this is actually happening here. And we're going to see the old, you know, Negan, I guess, come out finally because like that side to the character just hasn't been there all season. And it really did feel intentional, I will say. And I've mentioned that before too, where it just felt like the character was just so sad and it was sort of on purpose to like build up to a moment where he becomes himself. And the reason why I thought that too is because he never used Lucille ever. Like he kind of used it here and there, I think on a couple of walkers in one episode, but like it wasn't really anything. Like he just never really used Lucille like ever. And it was just like, yeah, I think they're building up to something like that. Like you don't give him Lucille and he doesn't do the eeny meeny miny mo thing. So there's a reason here. And I think that line at the very end of episode 7 where he's like, before I, you know, I guess had mercy for them and I just killed one person, you know, whenever I line them up. And now when I line them up, I'm going to kill them all. And I love that line so much. I think that honestly, this character could be like the best. Like, I know that some people might not like Negan, I guess, becoming this character again. To me, it's not him becoming that character again. He's totally different than he was before. Like, he doesn't joke around like that. Like, he's not so just all that anymore. You know, he's definitely, like, he means it now. And he's even more intense with it. So there's a difference here. Like, you can feel the difference with the character. I think that it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan's acting in the scene as well. Like, you just see the character in a totally different place. And I'm really excited to see how this character is gonna, you know, I guess, or where the character is gonna go in the finale here, because I think that it's going to be insane, especially if Bruegel here is confronting him. And we'll talk about some of the scenes here coming right up, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the one storyline that has me a bit concerned, I will say, and a lot of it is because of the fact that, you know, I think, like, I think when it comes to this show, it is easy to forget that, like, the show isn't this entire arc. Like, The Walking Dead wasn't about the CDC and the farm arc or whatever, right? Like, it had so many arcs throughout the entire series, right? Like, all seasons, like, an arc would last maybe at most, like, 2 seasons, right? Like, All Out War was season 7 and 8. And so when you're really looking at all the arcs overall, it's almost like, I don't know, with Dead City, I just expect it to be like this whole Dama and the Croat arc. With Bruegel, I expect to be the entire story of Dead City, right? Like, same with The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. I just thought that, you know, the whole France storyline was going to be that whole show, basically, but obviously not. So it's interesting to kind of see some of this here, and you see Maggie in a room like this, and you're wondering, I just wonder if Maggie is going to, like, ruin the entire place here and literally cut power to all of New York City, because I think that that is something that they could do and then focus on something else for season 3, but that's what I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope that the power going on in Manhattan is something more connected to Hershel becoming a villain in season 3. And I hope that, like, all the storylines, at least some of them, end here and there's some conclusion to the season, but there is still set up for the future, because I just feel like some of the stuff here shouldn't end entirely, because I really look at, like, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, and yes, there are some characters that are going to Spain. Well, not necessarily. Like, that's the thing about it all, is, like, Cadron is out there. I imagine we'll eventually go back to that storyline at some point, maybe in season 3 or maybe in season 4. Laurent and Ash obviously are going to be a part of the show in some way, but that's why I think Isabel dying in the show was just something that I just really did not like, because that's the one thing about The Walking Dead. Even though the arcs changed from season to season, you had certain characters join the group, and those characters would, you know, follow you to the next story or something like that, right? So I think with The Walking Dead, Dead City, I think it's okay if certain characters die off or certain storylines end, but I want certain things to carry over. Like Pearly, for example, I hope that character doesn't die. Like if they go to a different arc, I hope that Pearly is just a part of the group now. And you know what I mean? Like I just want there to be some sort of connection going to like the next season, because The Walking Dead always did that really well. And I think with The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, that was the issue with that, was that there was no other characters that went to this place or whatever, right? So I think that's just sort of my concern about the finale here, is that like the whole Methane storyline and the power in New York City is gonna end, and then I would just be really, really disappointed, because that's just something that I want to have on The Walking Dead, because honestly it's awesome. Then we get this shot here of Negan and Lucille, and it looks like somebody here, well, a few people here are actually going to be confronting him here about some stuff, and I do think it's Bruegel. It seems like Bruegel is going to be there, and I mean, I don't know, like depending on whether or not the character dies here, like honestly it kind of connects to what I was saying before. I think the character could die. It's just one of those things where if the character dies, like I hope that there's enough setup for something exciting for season 3, because that's what you got to do, right? Like you got to set up season 3 really well, and not kill off a character as amazing as Bruegel and just have it just be that. Like if the character dies somehow in the finale, it would just be really disappointing, because the character is honestly really amazing, and I think the character being on the show would just be incredible for season 3, because everyone loves Bruegel, and I think that if a character died like that, it would just be another villain that was amazing. Although I will say, like Major General Beale, he was a really great villain, well, beforehand. Like he was an alright character, but honestly it was more the hype, I would say, going into The Ones Who Live, where it just felt like maybe this character could be really incredible, really amazing, right? And you were always waiting for a moment to happen with the character, but he just kind of went out in a really bad way, and honestly I don't really like the character really at all. I think the villain's kind of, I don't know, he's not the greatest villain in my opinion. I think that at least when it comes to The Walking Dead Dead City and Bruegel, he's a really awesome character, and so I just hope that it wasn't wasted and like that was it, because honestly that's gonna end up being very disappointing overall, but we'll have to wait and see. We have some other shots here that I'm going to go through pretty fast. We have one here of New Babylon and the army here, so that's going to be exciting, because who's leading them, right? Is it a new character? Are they on Bruegel's side, or what's going on there? I imagine they're going to be with Bruegel, so we'll have to see where this goes here by the finale, because is everyone going to be wiped out? It looks like a bunch of stuff happens. Like we see Pearly here as well, and so he's with Bruegel at this point. I don't think he's going to be with Bruegel the entire time though, so we'll see where that goes. We see Negan as well here, and yeah, he's about to Lucille this walker, so really cool scene. We then have this shot here of New Babylon soldiers, and yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this plays out here. Like, is it a final battle, or like what's happening here? I imagine there's gonna be a lot of stuff that happens, because there's this one shot here of Bruegel as well with a flamethrower, so like that's gonna be really cool to see, right? Like that's one of the things where when you see earlier shots of Bruegel with Negan, I'm like, I don't think the character is going to end up dying there. Like, I feel like the character might end up getting knocked out or something like that, but I think he comes back later on, because obviously we see him here with a flamethrower, unless a lot of those tunnel scenes happen way later in the episode. I just don't see it, because that would mean that Negan basically stays down there the entire time, and I just don't think that's going to happen, obviously based off the trailer here. So I think that there's going to be this crazy battle that happens here, and yeah, Bruegel will be a part of it. We do see some shots here of Maggie with Hershel, and yeah, this is probably obviously very early on in the episode. And the last shot here of Maggie picking up Lucille, and yeah, we see Maggie obviously with Lucille, and I'm not sure what is happening here, who has died at this point here, but it's going to be really interesting to see where the story goes here. And I mean, there's so many possibilities, like who's going to die, who's going to survive, where is everything going here for season 3? Is Dwight going to show up? I know I keep bringing that up and it is kind of random, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, if he just showed up right now, it would be amazing. Like, everyone wants this connection to like everything else in The Walking Dead. I think Dwight showing up right now would be awesome for The Walking Dead Dead City. There would be so much excitement for season 3. It makes sense, because Dead City has been a lot about the Savior arc. Like, there's been a lot of talk about that, and you know, we saw Simon in season 1, like the Croat was from the Sanctuary, so like having Dwight, like he's the one character in all of this story that is still out there that hasn't really had a resolution to what happened to him with Negan, right? Like, that was a whole thing on Fear the Walking Dead. He went through a bunch of stuff, but there was no like final conversation, you know, with them. So I think that would be really cool to see that. But I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.